Well, voters are still casting ballots, deciding things like the future of school boards and, of course, the state and property tax increases. All the results we'll be following right here on 9 News tonight, along with our political analyst, Kelly Mars, back with us, as well as Alton Dillard, to talk about it. And I think when we talk about the races that you'll be following most throughout the night, most everyone's just talking about HH as far as statewide.
Yeah, it's a big race. It's where a lot of the money has gone. And what I think is super interesting is that the pro-HH side has declined to have a watch party.
Not a good sign.
Not a great sign for them. But, I've had some analysts tell me they think it's going to pass in a squeaker, some who say it's going to lose in a squeaker. Either way, I think it's going to be really, really tight.
You always see the numbers. What do you see on HH from what's happened so far as we lead up to these final hours?
Well, I see a couple things. One, the largest voting demographic is the 25 to 34s, but who's turning out, as always, are the 65 and ups.
In the earlies.
In the earlies. So I'm wanting to see what's going to happen as far as people maybe paying attention to the homestead senior exemption under HH, but also the fact that HH is so confusing. And so having seen the voting public not be able to pick two people for city council at large, I'm just wondering how many people are actually going to take the deep dive required into that complicated issue.
People are always more comfortable talking about the big races where they understand a personality at the top of a ticket or something. But I think people in the last decade have become more focused on how important those smaller races are, things like school boards. And school boards are going to be big today. And Alton, what do you see? How's that playing out?
I see a couple things. One of the things in the Denver Public Schools race, it's usually something that used to break down unions versus reformers. This is going to be a referendum on safety. There are people on the current school board who essentially are okay with kids who have to be frisked as a condition of attending a public school being in our public schools. And so it's going to be a matter of seeing if this is going to be a status quo kind of election or if people are ready for change. Because one other small fact on school board, as opposed to say Denver City Council, they don't all run at once. It's staggered. So you'll have one at-large seat and 3 district seats up, and then the next folks will be up in 2025.
The people paying closer attention to it, Kelly, also in suburbia.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of school board races that are happening in very typically red bastions here in Colorado. And I'm going to be really paying attention to those because that's kind of where the culture war is being fought right now.
How far right? How far red?
Yeah, it's going to be really fascinating. I'm looking at Weld, I'm looking at Douglas County, I'm looking all the way down south to Colorado Springs and Fountain. And it's going to be interesting with the current state of the Republican Party in Colorado to see kind of what those races, which are generally seen as, the bench from which we then get our state legislators and, for instance, our congresspeople, which we've been talking a lot about lately, how those races are going to go.
Are these tea leaves then for 2024 for the midterm?
I think it is a good indicator of kind of where Republicans are mentally, right? We've had a lot of talks about parent rights and what that looks like, and curriculum and what that looks like. And it's going to be really, really fascinating to see.
Briefly, we're a little short on time, but Aurora Mayor is going to be important for many people. Any idea of what you're looking for tonight on those numbers?
Yeah, just looking for the geography around that. When people think Aurora, they think Havana and Peoria corridors. They forget about the part out by Grandview High School and the part that's so far out in Arapahoe County that it abuts Douglas. So going to be interesting to see which parts of town turn out, especially with the Marcano versus Kaufman dynamic.
Quickly, Kelly, any thoughts?
Yeah, that's going to be really fascinating because we'll see how Kaufman manages to play and whether or not he can turn out that Alton was just talking about.
Well, of course, Alton and Kelly are going to stay and help us sort it out through the evening. It's great to chat with you. It's going to be an interesting night. It always is. Thanks to both of you.